Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are an adult learner thinking about picking up figure skating, I was in the same boat just a few months ago, well about 6 months ago at this point, and I wanted to share with you my 6-month skating progress. Now I'll kind of go through what I did month by month and how I felt at the end of each month, and I tried to record videos for every month so you could kind of see where I was at and what I was doing differently and where I improved. Admittedly, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing and I did not always remember to film those videos, but I did take notes about what I was working on and what I felt I really achieved at the end of each of the months, so that's what I'm going to go through today. Now, when I was practicing skating, and I still am, so shouldn't really use past tense, but what I did was basically I was practicing on average once a week. So each month is essentially an accumulation of 4 or 5 sessions of about an hour and a half each session. So without further ado, here is where I'm at with my skating after 6 months. I filmed this video during my very first skating session. I had skated in the past, but definitely wasn't great at it. So I'm not starting right from zero, never having been on skates before. But what I was realizing as I was going is that it had been a couple of years at least since I had put on ice skates, and the first session was really about finding what I'm going to call my ice feet and getting comfortable skating on ice and being in my skates. I really found that during that first time on skates again, the arches of my feet hurt so bad that I had to take multiple breaks while I was there. As I've gone on, that feeling definitely has gone away. It took a couple of sessions. I think by my 3rd session, I was able to skate the full time without having to take breaks because of my feet hurting. I didn't fall during that first session, but there were definitely a few close calls, and I was not able to stop at all. I had to just let my pace kind of slow down naturally and figure it out from there. I was super uncomfortable on the outside edges of my blades, so I kind of noticed that my ankles, well, looking back at the videos, that my ankles tilted inwards and I was relying a lot on the inside edges of the blades. And I could skate around, but I definitely looked off balance when I moved. While I could move backwards, there was no skill involved and it looked very uncoordinated. By the beginning of month 1, that's when I was able to do forward and backwards bubbles, or I guess they're also called swizzles, pretty confidently. So I could move forwards and backwards with a lot more confidence in that manner. I was also a lot more confident just skating forward generally, so just gliding on my skates. My arms still moved around a lot to kind of keep me balanced as I went, but I was a lot more confident when I was moving and I had no feeling like I was going to fall. I started to work on forward and backwards slaloms, but I was not using my edges confidently. I wasn't really going on the edges of my skates when I was doing those slaloms. And then I really started to get the mechanics of the snowplow stop down, but I was way too scared to try it at fast speeds. So throughout that month, I kind of started working more and more on increasing the pace of snowplow stops. Month 1 is also when I was working on forward crossovers, and I could do them, but it was really stumbly, and there were a lot of times that my feet kind of got stuck on the crossover part, and I felt like I was going to fall. Now, this video is at the beginning of month 2. At month 2, I was way more confident with forward skating, and my arms moved a lot less when I was skating. They still were moving, but way less compared to where we were at the beginning, and even at month 1. I could finally snowplow stop confidently, which made me feel a lot better because as the winter kind of approached, the rinks were getting more and more busy with more kids moving around, and knowing how to stop just made me feel a lot less worried that I was going to plow down a kid while I was learning. And I started learning how to do C-cuts to skate backwards, which was something that was really cool to me because it kind of felt like it just came naturally at that point, that everything I had learned had accumulated to the point where I'm like, yeah, I can actually move my feet in this pattern without facing a lot of difficulty. By the end of the month, I got really good at those. I also started learning how to switch from forward to backward skating, and I got really good at it on my dominant foot, but I noticed that when I was on my non-dominant foot, I was still struggling a lot with that switch. What I started working on month 3 was hockey stops, which were absolutely terrifying. I started working on backwards crossovers as well. Those are really, really tricky to master, I kind of realized. And then I also started working on hockey glides, so I felt more comfortable with putting one foot directly in front of the other and going into a forward pivot. Month 4 was when I was finally able to do a hockey stop. From slow speeds, granted, but I felt a lot more comfortable with the motion and the really quick twist to help me stop fast. I was able to forward skate without moving my arms and could finally move in backwards crossovers. I was really lucky that there was a woman at the rink who had given me some advice after seeing me kind of struggle to figure out the motions of backwards crossovers. She really recommended that I bend my knees a lot more than I was, kind of like you're sitting into a chair, and then just get a full crossover before moving your foot, which was super helpful for me as I was kind of working through figuring out how to do that motion. Month 4 was also when I felt that I could skate really fast when I was moving forward and effortlessly do those forward crossovers. Now, at month 5 is when I started to kind of push myself to try a few more new things. So I started to learn how to do T-stops, and I wanted to become a lot more comfortable on my edges, so I spent a lot of time doing some extra edge work. I also really wanted to get a lot better at those backwards crossovers and at balancing on one foot, so I was doing a lot more of one-footed glides. By the end of month 5, I really found that my backwards crossovers were so much better and I felt a lot more confident with the motion. I was able to do T-stops from slow speeds and hockey stops from faster speeds than I was able to the previous month. And finally, here at month 6, at the beginning of month 6, I started working on power pulls going forwards. I haven't really tried backwards yet. I worked on 1 foot backward glides exits that you would use from spins, for example, or jumps. I started working on 2 foot spins, but kind of spent more of my time dedicated on the other areas that I was looking to improve. And then I also spent some time this month working on 1 foot 3-point turns. When it comes to skating on 2 feet, I've gotten really good at the forward slaloms, really using my edges and knee bends to help build momentum as I go through, and just feeling like I'm getting more on those edges of my blades and feeling really comfortable skating on edges. Working through that month on the 3-point turns has really worked well on my dominant foot, still working on it on the non-dominant foot, and really not doing them at fast speeds yet, really just 1 glide and then into the 3-point turn. So we're making progress on it, but it's not 100% achieved yet. I can do my T-stops from a lot faster speeds now, and it's probably one of my favorite stops to do compared to using, like the snow plow or the hockey stop. I still feel like I could build confidence with my hockey stop. It's something that I wouldn't necessarily do unless I absolutely have to at this point, but I think that's just because I feel a little bit better with the T-stops, and I also think they look really nice. My backwards crossovers going clockwise around the circle are really, really strong now. I still need to spend a little bit more time going counterclockwise to make myself match the level that I'm able to do clockwise, but I definitely feel a lot more confident working on that. So if you are like me and you are trying to learn how to skate and you're an adult and you're teaching yourself and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do it, that's kind of what I noticed in terms of progress in the last 6 months. I'm definitely going to keep going. I'm really enjoying it. I think one thing that I've noticed in my life is that it's been a very long time since I've done something just for the fun of it without putting pressure on myself to, be the best at things. And I've really, really enjoyed just having a hobby for the sake of having a hobby. So if you're looking for something fun to do, skating has definitely been it for me. And let me know in the comments if it's something that you're working on as well. And if you have any tips or tricks or things that I can be improving on based on what you see in the video, please let me know. I'd love to improve and I'd love to hear where you're at with that as well. So I will update you as time goes on to see kind of where my progress is, maybe in another 6 months. But thanks so much for watching now, and I wish you all the best in your learning journey. See you next time.